What's up, Palm Tree? What's up, Protectors? It is your one and only Thiccness Pro, Palm here. And before we get into this new episode of Thiccness Protection Program, I just wanted to let you guys know one thing. Believe it or not, I am not monetized on YouTube yet. I'm not monetized on Spotify either. After all these years of uploading content to YouTube, I'm still not monetized. It's okay, it'll happen eventually, but this is a slow grind and this is not an easy platform to get on with. So, with that being said, if you are enjoying this content, please feel free to tip a donation to my Cash App or my Venmo, and it'll be much appreciated. You can let me know if you want your shout out in a future episode, no matter the amount of your tip, okay? So again, Cash App or Venmo is Dylan is Palm, and it's much appreciated. Hope you guys enjoy this new episode of Thiccness Protection Program. We want thick. Following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
We want thickness.
I entered the industry being a bigger girl, but before I moved to the United States, I wasn't fat. Fun fact about me, my very first job was as a dance instructor. I was a Zumba instructor for years, so I was actually very fit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was actually very fit. I had my abs all developed and everything. Yeah. I was actually very fit. Obviously, I've always been with really thick thighs and really big ass compared to my peers in Mexico. So I was always considered a bigger girl, but just because of my thighs and my ass. But my stomach and everything was flat. I always had smaller boobs, so it was like a very, petite top and then bigger bottom. So I was fine as fuck. I was fine as fuck. Thank you. But no, I haven't always been fat. I haven't always been big. But getting to that point where I was really, really big, and I made the decision to get the surgery, not because I was fat, because if it was a business decision, I didn't have to, because I was making really good money. It was more health. She can attest to that. I was actually at one point diagnosed as a narcoleptic, but it was a narcolepsy.
It would be like this. Hey, Bree, how's your day going? Good.
Like, I was falling asleep everywhere, and it was just my obesity. Like, I was just too obese. Like, I wasn't, my oxygen wasn't great, so I had terrible sleep apnea. I was falling asleep everywhere. I was diabetic. I'm no longer diabetic. So it was a health decision.
Smoker's cough, my God. Hey, y'all, stay away from cigarettes, and should be a Mary Jane thing. You know, we in California, so I got to get this New Yorker and this Floridian born in Mexico City hip to how we do things out here. What's up, everybody? You are now tuned into the Thiccness Protection Program. This is the podcast celebrating body positivity for the adult content creator community. And if you don't already know, I am Palm, the Thiccness Pro. Today, I got a returner to the Thiccness Protection Program and a new hot mama getting down with the thickness today. Ladies, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey, everyone. I am Breana Khalo, and
I'm Ash Lauren. You'll just hold that for me, right? Thank you.
I guess I'm just going to be like this.
Please.
I feel like we're at like grandma's house doing karaoke night. All right, ladies. Well, Breana, I've already put out an interview with you before, part of one at least, but remind them how long you've been in the business and what type of performer do you consider yourself? Pardon the interruption, Protectors, but this is Pimpin' Palm, the Mac and Memoji. And before we go any further in this interview, I'm going to need you to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification bell. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you are following the podcast. And please leave a rating before you get up on out of here. Now back to the Thiccness Protection Program. Pimpin' Palm, Mac and Memoji. You dig?
We want thickness.
I've been in the industry I'm going to make 4 years in July. I consider myself a BBW performer, a hardcore performer, and an all-time pussy killer.
All-time pussy killer, y'all. 4 years in the business. Wow, 4 years. Wow. So it's like you kind of graduated from porn university at this point, and are you on your way to like getting your master's in like sucking dick, riding dick, or like what would be the next step in the school of pornography for Breana Khalo?
Excuse me, I have a doctorate already in all of those. Excuse you. No, I'm just kidding. What will be the next step for the porn industry for me? Honestly, I kind of want to get behind the cameras at one point. Right now, I'm enjoying still being, on camera. I enjoy the eyes on me. I enjoy performing. It's a lot of fun. But at one point, I do want to just retire from being in front of the camera. And are you staring at my titties?
Titties and the eyes.
I glance at him. He's like, "Oh yeah."
Wow, that's so fascinating. Tell me more. You're just like drooling. Yeah. You all know how hard it is to talk about sex with a woman and talk about her. Thank you. Talk about sex, talk about a woman's body, and not sound like you're hitting. Anyway, we got so carried away and fucking around, we didn't even introduce this hot lady. Tell us about yourself.
So again, I'm Ash Lauren. I'm a BBW. What did you say? Porn star? Yeah, I'm a porn star.
I didn't say porn star, but she's a porn star.
I do content creation, so I create mostly my own stuff. I also do a little bit of cam modeling, and I guess that's pretty much it.
You do a lot.
I mean, I'm just all around a slut, so it's really weird holding this. I like it. Two fingers. So actually, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm actually from Florida. Like, I was born in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, so I've lived in Brooklyn. It's like 2 years now. I've been in the industry almost 3 years. Yeah, that's pretty much. I don't know what else to tell about me.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I won't do it until the end.
Do you think you can fit the whole mic?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get my mic slobbery. I still got albums to review later. Okay. So, Ash, tell me a little bit about you growing up as a kid. What was, the early days of Miss Ash Lauren?
Wow. I actually, oh my God. I had a very traumatic childhood, okay? No, like capping, but no capping. So growing up, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. I was around like Pompano Beach, spent some time in Miami. I was in West Palm Beach for a while. Then my parents divorced. My dad and my brother and I moved to Canada. So I actually lived in Canada for 13 years. I have dual citizenship. And I just got bored of it. I was like, you know what? This is not enough for me. Like, people are too nice in Canada. And I, like, literally too nice. So I was like, I'm going to go back to Florida. So I went back to Florida, spent a couple more years there. And then I got into the industry. So when I got into the industry, it was like a couple months after. And that's when I went to Brooklyn. And the money was so fucking good that I just never left. Like, literally never left. So childhood for me, not super exciting. Very basic. But yeah, this is what I do now. So I never thought as a child this is what I would be doing, but did you really?
Yeah, I always.
I keep forgetting.
Whoever's
got the microphone.
So, I feel like when I was a child, because I started watching porn really early in my life, like probably like 5 or 6.
Whoa.
Yeah, I started watching porn really early in my life.
I believe it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And weird shit too, like not just regular, like really weird shit. And so I always felt like if I'm not an actress, like Hollywood actress, I want to be On Pornhub. Well, it wasn't Pornhub back then. I don't. Yeah. So, I want people watching at me somehow. I don't care if it's my titties, but someone is watching me. No, but I really thought that making porn. I had no concept of. Obviously, I wasn't thinking this when I was 5, but growing up, I always thought that it was very interesting because I'm like, these people have to get paid. I never thought that people were doing it for free. I'm like, these people have to be paid to do this. And like, if they make me feel the way that I feel right now, I wonder if I can make people feel that way. That was my reasoning when I was like a teenager. So I actually did see myself doing porn, but obviously my parents were like conservative and like, I remember this one time I was watching porn. I was probably like 14 and I forgot to close the tabs. And it was on my dad's office. And my mom goes into the office and sees the fucking tabs open. And obviously they're not thinking, Breana did it. They're thinking my dad is watching porn. And I almost caused my parents to get a divorce. Because that's how much my mom hated porn. Yeah, that's my story. Doon doon.
I've never said this before on Thickness Protection Program or any other platform, but how did I first start watching porn? Well, I think I was like 12 or 13 at the homie's house, and he had a relative, like a uncle who lived with him, who was probably in his 20s, maybe early 30s, something like that, who was like, married basically. But they had some porn DVDs like on a bookshelf, like in the cut. So then one afternoon while nobody was home, or at least nobody was watching us, he opened one up, put it in the OG Xbox, and then we were just, just like on a TV like that, just sitting there, just watching, like, oh my God, that's what, watching a bitch go in reverse cowgirl, like, oh my God, that's what sex is, Yeah, yeah. And then another time, I believe my dad and I were walking to a Laker game, and then we see some chicks handing out business cards, and they handed him one, and then not knowing, I had a hoodie up, so you probably couldn't tell how old I was, but they handed me one, and then I looked at the back of it, I'm like, Dad, what's this? He's like, oh, free passes to the strip club. So I went home, and I went on the website for the strip club, and then from there it was a wrap, like all the related sites. And then I think one day in the 7th grade, I got home from basketball practice, and then I was just always wanting to go on the computer around that time. Is he doing homework? Is he looking up cheat codes? What is he doing? And my mom finds out that she says, Dylan, if I go on rfreeporn.com, what will I find? And I just started crying. She's like, get your father. And she started crying. That, for an only child, that's some dramatic ass shit. But all that meant was, hey, yeah, I'm a straight guy. So, and that's that. Hey, Ash, back to like your origin stories. What is your ethnic background?
I am Italian.
Full on. Okay. So can you, tell me about like, your heritage and stuff. Can you like whip up good pasta, good chicken parmesan? Oh, shots fired.
She's right. What did you say?
She can't cook for shit.
She's absolutely correct. I can clean till the cows come home, but I cannot cook. Okay, let me rephrase this. I can cook, bitch. I just choose not to cook. Pasta, yes, I can cook. Chicken parm, I can cook. Like basic Italian, like meatballs, stuff like that, I can cook. But I choose not to cook because I don't like to cook.
I guess this is my turn. Can I cook Mexican food? Absolutely, yes. I can cook any food.
Is that your ethnic background?
I am Cuban Mexican, but I was born and raised in Mexico, like a lot of you guys know. But I'm heavy on the Cuban and I'm heavy on the Mexican. So both, ethnicities are definitely something I enjoy cooking. And I do cook really, really good. I am a great chef.
I can attest to that.
I cook really, really good. So, yes, that's why I'm fat. Because I cook good and I eat good. Can't help it.
Definitely got to see some cooking content from Breana Khalo in the near future. For sure. I want all the, XXX entertainers to expand into the safe for work worlds,
I've actually done custom videos where they ask me like, oh, like a lot of featherism. Like they ask me like, hey, can you eat? And since I got the surgery, I've done a few customs that I'm like, I can't eat all that much anymore. My intake is super limited. But what about I cook and I start, trying my cooking, and then they're like, yeah, that will be phenomenal. So I've actually transitioned from like doing like stuff in my face to like cooking, and I've actually been doing that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I can eat all that much, so I'm like, I'm not gonna lose on the money. You want to see me eating? You'll see me eating, but mostly cooking naked.
What a novel concept. Wow, cooking naked. Okay. Well, so tell me about how the two of you first meet, because you're kind of inseparable, like two peas in a pod. So how did y'all first hit it off?
I actually don't like her.
I hate all these bitches. No, I'm sorry.
Should I tell this story or should you? Okay, so
The
the entire story. Okay, you sure? From the floating and everything. Okay, so this was 2.5 years ago. What year was that? December 2020? Yeah, you're right. December 2020. So I was freshly into the industry, like I think a month in. No, like a month. Like I just shot for BBW Highway. So I was in the industry for a month. I thought it'd be a bright idea if I had a content house. So myself, Samaj, and Rosie Kush, we threw a content house. This was in Miami, and of course, Breana Khalo is in Miami. So I had not met her yet, but I met Rose, and I didn't meet Samaj. The only person I really had met was Rose. So I heard Breana Khalo was coming to our content house, and I was really, really scared. Like, I saw her walk in and I hid, like literally hid in the bedroom, because Breana was, to me, like, she was at that point doing a lot of influencing with the BBW community, and she was putting herself out so confidently, and she was a strong, independent woman, and she was doing you were doing all these dances and like just in bikinis, and I was like, man, I want to do this shit. Like, she's so beautiful. She's just, it was just, to me, like, she was almost like an idol. So, and actually, you're the reason why I'm doing what I do. And I still look up to you, of course. Yeah. Her head's getting so big right now. So anyway, after I finally came out of the bedroom, yeah, it is. From the back, though, from the back. So after I finally came out of the bedroom, I introduced myself to her. She had her hair extensions in. It was like brown to blonde. She had high heels on, face full of makeup. She looked like Breana Khalo. Breana Khalo. So I'm like, hey, I'm Ash. Nice to meet you. We hug, whatever. And I don't even remember what happened after that. Like, we kind of just, like,
we did a few scenes, and then I got really high.
No, we hadn't shot yet. You mean you and I?
Like, we were just
Oh,
working,
okay, yeah.
because it
So
was, like, nighttime when we hit it up.
you're right. So that was earlier in the day, and then fast forward to the nighttime. I go outside because I smoke cigarettes, and I go outside. I'm just chilling, just shot a scene, whatever. And Breanna's sitting there, like, I think there was like a little couch. Oh my God. There was like a full couch outside. There was a blanket. There was pillows. And she's just sitting out there smoking. I go up and I talk to her, and she's like, can you come sit over here? So I went and sat beside her. And Breana has this thing that she likes to do when she likes girls, like, and wants to shoot with them. She'll try to make them really comfortable, but in a way of like, oh, you're just so beautiful, and oh my God, like, you know, she'll bring that vibe to, like, between y'all, right? So she decides she wants to smoke weed. This was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm going to enact what was going on, okay? I'm going to reenact it. So Breana's smoking. All of a sudden I look over and she's like this, super fucking high. And Breana has anxiety, and I have anxiety, really, really bad. We both do. So mentally ill, mentally ill. So she got so fucking high, and she was starting to get anxiety. So I'm like, what even? I don't even know how to reenact what happened.
I can't remember. I was high.
She just like kind of looked at me and she was like, I feel like I'm floating. And I'm like, floating? She's like, I'm just so high. She's shaking.
Yeah,
I'm like, listen.
I was like this close from a panic attack, and I'm like, can you just hold me, please?
Yeah, she's like, can you hold me? So I'm sitting there like just holding her like this, like, oh no, it's gonna be okay.
I was gonna float away, literally.
Yeah, she was gonna float away. So I showed her like some of my breathing techniques and like just how to like relax, and I'm like,
that was the first time that I ever felt at peace with someone. Seriously, like she just was able to bring me out of a panic attack, which has never happened. And then from there, we're soulmates. Like
we literally were.
We're
like
soulmates.
right away. Right away. It was, I had to hold, I'm like, come on, you're on the ground. Like, it's okay. And she's like, just keep talking to me. Just keep telling me. Just hold me down. Hold me down.
That was exactly what you
That is exactly what I was doing. Like, don't, yeah. So, was there anything to add to that?
Just listen. Don't get me high.
Facts.
That's not Breana Khalo.
Don't ruin it for everyone.
Don't ruin it for everyone.
Since then, she has got very high, and I've still had to do this to this day with her. Yeah.
All right. Note to self and everybody watching: don't get Breana Khalo high, because some shit I got in my backpack right now. I have this go floating away. Okay, cool. So, what is, the day of a shoot routine? Like, what are some of the things you do to prep yourself?
You want to go first?
Shave my legs.
To prep myself, honestly, I always take a shower beforehand. I do. I hope. No, I always do. I always take a shower. I talk to my performers. I go over the list of do's and don'ts, because it's very important to know the boundaries of the performers. You cannot just go into a scene assuming that they like something and then you're doing it. And then for the most part, performers are not ones to stop the scene. Like, it's very few people that will just stop the scene and be like, no, I don't like this. Like, they would just go through it, and I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable and have like a traumatic experience with me, or like not want to work with me again because I didn't respect their boundaries, but they were never discussed beforehand. So you can't assume. So I always ask my performers, okay, so what are your boundaries? Like, what do you like? What do you expect from the scene? We brainstorm ideas, so it's not always one-sided. Like, it's always like, oh, everyone involved is putting in their 5 cents. Even the camera person, what do you think about this angle? How do we move? Like, it's always like this whole ordeal of kind of like a rehearsal. Like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, and then we go into the scene. That's how I prepare. And usually what I like to also is to build a rapport with my, performers, my co-performers and the videographer, like whether it was online, whether it was in person, but I always want to have some sort of relationship. So when we go into the scene, it's not like we're fucking a stranger, like it's weird. We're already doing this for work. We're not always like, and not to disrespect anyone, but we're not always into our performers in a way that we're like, oh, I can't wait to fuck this person. Like, no, like sometimes it's really, a matter of business. Like, you're good for my platform. I'm good for your platform. Let's collaborate. But we need to build a certain relationship so it's smoother and it's easier and there's communication and the scene feels better than doing it when you don't have that kind of connection.
No, I totally dig it. Don't worry, you're gonna get another chance to talk, Breana. But yeah, no, I totally get it. You know, good communication's always been a mantra here on Thickness Protection Program. And a couple of guys you've had as co-stars, like Magic Montana. I love the vibe you guys had, like when you watched the reaction of you guys' scene that you shot in the tent. And like I was telling him when I had him on, that inspired me to start doing music video reactions. So I definitely wanted to give you your flowers on that. You're welcome. And then, yeah, the funny thing was when I had Finney on, he was like, yeah, I met Breana Khalo at a content house. And I was just like, I'm fucking you. And prior to that, he had a reputation of only working with models who had really big boobs. Oh, yeah. Awesome guy. Shout out to Finney. Yeah. Can't wait for us to all be reunited in Chicago. Yeah. The show. Now, let me ask you girls this. We're going to start with you on this one, Ash. Have you guys always been like curvy, voluptuous, plus size BBW?
In the industry, yes. In life, no. I actually, when I was like 8 to 10 years old, I was a cheerleader. I really? Yeah. I'm dead. I was literally this thin. Like, I was super thin. I had a little bit of boob and I was a little chunky, but not chunky. It was more like I just had some skin, you know? Yeah, I've not always been a bigger woman. I love being a bigger woman. Do I wish I was skinny? Not skinny. I would love to be smaller, thick. I want to be like slim thick. But no, I've not been always a bigger woman.
I'll tell you, like Bruno Mars, you're amazing just the way you are. For sure. Brie, what about you? Well, you recently had surgery since the last time we spoke. Can you talk about that?
So I got a gastric sleeve because I got myself too big. Like a balloon. Like a balloon. Like whatever. Seriously. I got to 365 at one point. Before my surgery, I went down to 356, which is when I got the surgery. And before I entered the industry being a bigger girl, but before I moved to the United States, I wasn't fat. Fun fact about me, my very first job was as a dance instructor. I was a Zumba instructor for years. So I was actually very fit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I was
awesome.
actually very fit. I had my abs all developed and everything. Yeah. I was actually very fit. Obviously, I've always been with really thick thighs and really big ass compared to my peers in Mexico. So I was always considered a bigger girl, but just because of my thighs and my ass. But my stomach and everything was flat. I always had smaller boobs, so it was like a very, petite top and then bigger bottom. So I was fine as fuck. I was fine as fuck. Thank you. But no, I haven't always been fat. I haven't always been big. But getting to that point where I was really, really big, and I made the decision to get the surgery, not because I was fat, because if it was a business decision, I didn't have to, because I was making really good money. It was more health. She can attest to that. I was actually at one point diagnosed as a narcoleptic, but it was a narcolepsy.
It would be like this. Hey, Bree, how's your day going? Good.
Like, I was falling asleep everywhere, and it was just my obesity. Like, I was just too obese. Like, I wasn't, my oxygen wasn't great, so I had terrible sleep apnea. I was falling asleep everywhere. I was diabetic. I'm no longer diabetic. So it was a health decision. I actually, now that I've lost so much weight, I appreciate even more bigger women, because I feel like you have to have a tummy, like for me, that's just sexy. I didn't do this to get skinny. I'm actually, like, I've told her and I've told my partner, and I even told my parents, like, I'm scared to get skinny. I don't want to be skinny. I don't think I will love myself as much as I do now. if I'm skinny. And I'm not putting anyone down for being skinny or anything. It's just a personal preference. I prefer being thick. I prefer to be chubby than to be slim or to be, skinny.
I love it. I'm super glad that you have like a good self image of where you want to be, health wise and physically. Okay, cool. So, with all the things you ladies do, from like shooting porn to camming to doing like Sext Panther or any other services, like what is, and OnlyFans, of course, what is like your biggest source of revenue? Start with you, Ash.
So, aside from actually shooting porn, I do escort. I'm gonna be open and honest, right. Obviously.
The listeners are actually really curious about that. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I got a DM about a topic we should go on more about on the show is escorting.
Really?
Yeah, so
okay. So I do escort. My main location obviously is Brooklyn because that's where I'm located, but I do take bookings anywhere I go. So aside from, I'm going to say escorting is the biggest income source. Yeah, for sure. Runner up would definitely be my OnlyFans because everybody is so like brainwashed into being on OnlyFans and subscribing to OnlyFans. Like, it's just so easy to to get income on there. My ManyVids does well. I have like my actual website, like ashlornxxx.com. Shout out to myself. No, I didn't even mean, like, I was just saying, like I have a .com website. I don't really make anything off X videos because I haven't gotten there yet. It's hard to maintain everything already by ourselves. So to be on a whole nother platform, even though I know it's a lot of money, I have to actually sit down and figure it out for myself, which I don't have the time. But yeah, I would say escorting for sure.
He wants to talk.
Yoink. And before I forget, how long has the escorting been going on, Ash?
So I again I've been in the industry 2.5 years. I started escorting about 3 months after I got into the industry. So it's been like 2 years and 3 months, literally.
What type of clients do you get as far as like the demographic of your clientele?
The demographic of my clientele is mostly Black. I get some, it depends on what area I'm in. Like, we're out here in LA, most of them have been Black too. Brooklyn is predominantly, Black. Which shout out to my Black men, because yes, shout out to your brothers because I love them. I love all men. I love all dick, all sizes, all colors, and not so much smells, but but I do, like, back in Brooklyn, I do get a few white guys. I get a few Latino, but predominantly Black. Oh yeah, a lot of Middle Eastern. I forgot about. Never mind. I try to block some of them out. Yeah. No judgment. It's just people don't understand that we are really doing this for work. Like, we love it, yes, but sometimes, like Breana said earlier, there's people that you just don't want to have sex with, but you know that either it's going to bring you money or it's going to be good for your platform, which is in turn going to bring you money. So what am I going to do? Turn people down? No, I can't judge people. Like, if you're paying me, hey, I'm going to fuck you.
Yeah. And some of those experiences that, might be unwelcome end up being funny. Like, if you really think about it, you're like, wow, I can't believe I just did that for X amount of money. And then you're just laughing. A lot of it. Like, we have some crazy stories together and by ourselves. But escorting for a while for me as well was my main source of income, because I went through a depressive episode when I was, really obese, where I I was killing it on OnlyFans and all my platforms. And then I decided to just drop it. I literally just dropped it. And I was like, well, fuck, I still have bills. You know, I cannot keep eating from my savings. I need to figure something out. And then, you know, my godmother and pimp. Madame. I'm a damn. She taught me everything I know about escorting. And that's how I made most of my income last year, actually. And it's definitely something that a lot of people don't want to touch subject on. No, I don't understand why, because it's part of sex work. I feel like everyone that I've met so far that is a performer, that is whether doing studio or their own website, I mean, are you going to turn down $500 for 30-40 an hour? Like that's like base payment. Obviously people have all kinds of range in the prices. You do what you do. But like, not even surgeons, I think, made that much money for, you know, something that is not complicated, you know. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it might, you know, be a little stinky or a little weird, but it's not complicated, you know. Like, we're just pillow priests going like 500, you know, like it's literally it.
I get it. Yeah, one thing that I've definitely learned from doing this podcast, because prior to this, you know, I didn't know that all these porn stars actually many of these ladies actually are escorts too. But, you know, I've kind of learned that, you know, that's just one other hat that a sex worker will wear, you know. So, and, you know, obviously it's a, you know, a good revenue stream. But do you feel like your safety is, obviously because you still continue to do it, but do you feel like your safety is always okay when you're doing that sort of thing?
Not always. Not always. And because I'm gonna go over 2 points in here. One is the fact that it's illegal in most states. You know, like we have the fortune, and I'm lucky enough to have my best friend in New York where it's been decriminalized. So, if I ever were to be in an emergency, I wouldn't have to think about whether I want to call the police or not, whether I want to get arrested or get murdered, you know, like there's always a risk. The hardest part of escorting is screening. When you want to screen your clients, there's ways that they can go about review. There's ways that they can go about many things that put us at risk, and you honestly go blind for the most part for most of the clients that we have. There's all types of escorting, you know. There's escorts that do high-end dates, that are doing the whole shenanigans of getting dressed up, going on dates and having dinner and going on trips, and I don't do that shit. I honestly don't like doing that. Yeah, like I much rather do the quick transaction where you see me for 10, 15. Yeah. I liked what they call trapping.
At a restaurant being like, so what's your favorite color? Yeah, you paid $1,000 to sit up here and have a glass of wine and a plate of spaghetti with me, blah, blah, blah.
Make that money. I much rather not make that money than I have to sit down and listen to you. Like, seriously. Okay. And, yeah. See, like, but there's there's high-end escorting that do that, and even then you're at risk of, you know, being with a weirdo that might hurt you. But there's a word that we use in the sex work community for escorting, which is trapping. You know, when you trap, you're doing volume. You charge a little less than usually high-end escorting, and you just do volume. You literally fuck anything and anyone that will fucking pay you. That's what we do. That's the kind of escorting we do. When we travel, we're like, yeah, if you want to pay me as a fan, we'll charge you the fan. And I'm spilling the beans, but it's true. I'll charge you as a fan because you're coming with the fantasy of Breana Khalo. But when you find me on other sites and you just want to fuck a prostitute, I'm a prostitute. You have no idea who I am, you know? So there's this, it's different kind of environments that you can get involved in. And it's always risky. First, because it's illegal. You never know if it's a sting. And, you know, They might have passed all the screening with flying colors, but then they get there and it's a fucking cup. You never know. Or it might be someone that want to hurt you, want to steal your money, want to punch you in the face. I've gotten raped being an escort, and you're gonna think like, oh, how can you get raped if you are, being paid? That how can it be called rape if you're being paid? And it's like, because they pushed the boundaries that I told them not to. I've had gotten raped in the ass. That was not part of the agreement. I never do anal, and the person forced himself into my ass, hurt me. I cried, and then I went up crying to her. It's always risky. You're always at the mercy of being with a good person or being with a bad person. For the most part, I have to say we meet really awesome people, hardworking people that earn their hardworking money. We don't see people that are working on Wall Street all that often. We see people that are working at the Dudley store, at the fucking metro station, people that are giving us really something that they might have used for something else, and you appreciate that. Like, for the most part, we really do meet great gentlemen, but we're always at risk of meeting the bad apples and still going through that risk. And you just have to brush it up, because unfortunately for us, we're sex workers, so it's like screaming to the void when it comes to legal actions.
She pretty much covered all that. Sex work is not for everyone. You're definitely always at risk, especially mostly for the in-person stuff. I enjoy, exactly like how she said, I really enjoy the quick dates. I enjoy trapping, but I also do enjoy meeting my fans and doing higher end. And they're getting a very, like she said, a very different experience from us as far as how much effort with conversation, with how we dress. Like, for trapping, we just wear like a basic dress and, hell, if we even put makeup on. Versus when we meet our fans. Yeah.
Have conversations. It's not like we're, heartless and we don't give a fuck about you. No. That's not what we mean. It's just that it's not something that we want to do with everyone that is just looking for a companionship, rather than fans that want to meet you because they like you.
Yeah, that's true. And like, we put lingerie, sometimes we'll wear heels if, and we're more open to like, if they have like specific fetishes and stuff like that. We're always at risk. I've actually, from the very jump, implemented cameras inside and outside of my house, because my apartment is where I do my work, and I have, that's my safety. So, for the most part, we are at risk, but again, it's not for everyone. You have to be super careful and very thick skin. You can't let just anything affect you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both, you ladies, for sharing this with me. Through the good, bad, and the ugly. I'm sorry, Bree, that some of those things have happened to you, but I applaud you for being courageous enough to share these experiences. And for other ladies who watch Thickness Protection Program, they're gonna want to know and learn from you from having these experiences. Okay. I want to move on to my segment, Down in the DM. We'll start with you on this one, Ash. Tell me the craziest, most funny, out-of-pocket, ridiculous DM or email you've ever received.
Literally, I could pull up my DMs right now. Most of them are asking me if I do meets, which, yes, I do meets. Stop asking me, and please email me like everywhere it says on my social media. I get dick pictures. I get, people trying to wife me up, people trying to take me out. I can't really pinpoint the craziest thing that I've received. But I do have this one guy who, I hope he doesn't watch this, because he drives me insane. And you might get it too. So he literally emails every single BBW I can think of. And I know this because one day he slipped up and he put us all in the same thread. There was like 30 or 40 of us. And not only that, but so he's a Middle Eastern guy. He's never going to pay us. He's not from America, so he doesn't have Cash App and Venmo and whatever. Doesn't subscribe to any of us. So he realized that none of us were responding to his emails. So he decided to make another email called BBC Max and pretends to be a performer. And we all know it's him because he sends the same email from both emails. And the other day it was Valentine's Day. Women's what was it? International Women's Day. And he emails me and he says something like, "I love you, bitch." And I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, and I'll just call up all my BBW friends and be like, "Did you just see this?" Like, he's at it again. Like, he's so literally the most annoying person, annoying fan. Like, get the fuck away from me. That's what pisses me off. Funniest, I don't even know at this point. It's just so much.
I have a persistent one. I'm gonna pull it up. He writes me these poems, like paragraphs and paragraphs of like, "I love you, dear Breana," and he rhymes everything. Like, it's just, I never reply because I want him to keep insisting because it's funny. Like, how creative you have to get.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Breana Khalo, will you please be my boo?
And I obviously get those as like, hey, like, I'll marry you. I'm a millionaire in, Budapest or Dubai. I have a camel for you. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do with a camel, but I have a camel toe. You want it? Like, I don't know. I have a camel toe. I don't need your camel, but thank you.
All right, ladies. Well, before we hop up on out of here, everybody wants to know, what is the biggest misconception of a sex worker or porn star?
Oh, now that you say it like that, they all think we have fucking STDs and we're dirty. But let me clear this up real quick, okay? We are the cleanest. We get tested at the very minimum once a month. Most of us are getting tested every 2 weeks, and it costs a lot of freaking money. So we are clean as fuck. I have clients that come to me all the time and they'll be like, "But I'm clean. Just do bareback with me. I'm clean." And I'm like, "When was your last test?" "Oh, it was like 6 months ago." And I'm like, "Well, mine was a week ago. So no." And I don't do that regardless, but it's just so crazy. Like, there's so much stigmatism behind STDs and porn stars carry STDs. Like, this was back in the day when there wasn't a cure for AIDS, when there were for HIV. There wasn't a, medicine you could take to get rid of STIs and all this stuff. Now we're in modern day. So we can take a shot for gonorrhea and we can take a shot for chlamydia, and there's antibiotics and there's, pills you can take to even prevent some of this stuff from happening. We are very clean people, and we're constantly sharing our bodies with other people who are sharing their bodies with us. Hygiene. Yeah, we're very clean. We're very, hygienic. We're just, we're responsible. Like, we're over here paying. I just got tested 3 days ago. It cost me $240. Like, what? And people are going to free clinics that don't even do a full panel. Like, I'm sticking a swab up my ass to see if I have gonorrhea or chlamydia. So that would be definitely the biggest misconception. Definitely.
A misconception that I can think of as a sex worker, other than being dirty or always being horny, I will think that not everyone that is in the sex industry is a sex addict or crazy sex drive or a slut. No, a slut, yes. You have to be a slut to be in sex work. I think you cover it all. For me, I think the biggest misconception I get when I'm meeting people, well, for example, when I met my now fiance, he did ask me like, so how you guys control STDs? How you guys maintain yourself clean and not getting infected with all, like, he had the idea that we're just like fucking like rabbits and not caring about, and I'm like, no, like, actually I got tested 3 days ago and I'm gonna have to get tested 7 days from now, and like, if I ever pop dirty, I have to be very honest and be like, sorry, I can shoot with you because I have such and such, I have chlamydia or I have gonorrhea, or like, it's not that it happens. We're not gonna say that in the history of fucking sex work, it's never happened that a performer pops with chlamydia or gonorrhea, because that would be stupid to think that it's not something that can be possible. The fact that we are the ones to be responsible enough to be like, sorry, I'm not in a position to shoot right now because I can, spread something. And the fact that you knew that you had something and you caught it, like last week you were clean, but this week you're not, then you know that for the next 2-3 weeks you cannot shoot because you have to be under medication. You have to be under observation. And if there's even a case that there's more than 5 or 6 performers popping for chlamydia in a certain area, the whole industry puts a stop until we figure out where that came from. Like, it's super, super controlled. It's not that we're here just going wild and not being responsible. We're very responsible. We're very clean. And not only because we're sex workers, but because it's our health. We obviously care about our health. Mm-hmm. And it's also part of our business. So being unclean or being infected, yeah, it happens. But it also affects your back, because if you had something planned, now you can't count on that money. You still have to pay $300 to get tested.
I understand. Yeah, it's like with great sacrifice that you're sexually healthy to shoot and to see clients and all these things. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for the enlightenment, ladies. Thank you for the laughs. Before we get up on out of here, let them know where they can find you, follow you, and stream all your content. Go ahead, Bree.
Okay, so on all my platforms, sorry, I have a thick accent.
Thick accent, thick everything.
Thick everything. Just Breana Khalo. Khalo is spelled Khalo. And Breana is Breana. Breana Khalo. If you Google me, you're going to find absolutely everything. Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, X videos, Pornhub. And the best way to get to know me will be my social media and my OnlyFans. I feel like the closer relationship that my fans get is definitely on OnlyFans, because it's me answering my DMs. It's me going live. It's me actually getting to know you guys, because I don't answer DMs on Instagram. My DMs on Twitter are closed. You can only talk to me if you subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Okay, let's go down the list here, just like she did. So you can find me at onlyfans.com/AshLaurenXXX. The VIP page, that one's free, but the VIP page is Ash Lauren VIP. You can see all the sucking and fucking you want. My Twitter, Ash X Lauren with 2 N's. Instagram is Ash Lauren BBW. And if you go to my Instagram, there's a link in my bio. If you click that, it has all my links, like to everything, my many vids, my TikTok, everything. So yeah, Ash Lauren out.
And I'm going to drop the mic. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for having us, by the way. This was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well, getting to know, Ash and I a little bit more. and you do an amazing job.
Yeah,
You really
thank
do.
you.
I appreciate y'all ladies so much. Well, thank you both for getting down with the thickness. Everybody, this has been Thickness Protection Program. Make sure you are following at the Thickness Protection Program on Instagram. Make sure you're following the podcast on Spotify. Make sure you are subscribed to youtube.com/palmofficial, and make sure you're following at Thickness Pro on Twitter. Till next time, everybody, we want thickness.
We want thickness. And before you cut, this is just for you, okay? You ready?